Hey, hey, how's it going? It's uh, it's Big Show, the God here. Let's get set up. Haven't been here for a while, so I thought I'd talk a little bit about some of the things going on. Because I was wondering if it was. I titled this. What did I title? Fear versus evidence. I kind of was interested in talking out loud about my thoughts on this and whether whether I underreact versus overreact, you know. And so I want to say what I think, right, and then uh, see if there's some gaps in how I think versus how you might think, right? And this may come from uh, my um, emotional disconnection. I don't know. So I'll see what you think, or whether I've mentally created this emotional disconnection. See what you're thinking. So the title is Fear versus Evidence. So most of how I live, I kind of do my best to use evidence to base my maybe not my emotions by, but base my thought patterns on. I try to, and then if the evidence changes, then I'm adapting at the time, and it affects my emotions, I think. So this, for example, um, is kind of a new elevated situation. You got a lot more people doing a lot more things. So one thing I would like to sort of mention was, remember when that September 11th type thing happened? Things went on there. That was kind of an instant hit, and all the emotions and all the fear and all that sort of stuff that happened. And how close you were to it. We were kind of distant, but you could kind of go, "Whoa, that was interesting," and you couldn't stop watching it. Well, I couldn't. Did that give me fear in that? Not the same way, but I kind of watched it and thought, well, there's going to be stuff happening after this. And then we have a more recent one, I guess, was Christchurch last year, right? So, in my opinion, that happened, and that was a bit closer to us, so I could kind of try and get hit at it a bit more interestingly. That same event happened in Utah or somewhere offshore, further offshore, even the one in Australia, right, where that guy held up a restaurant or a cafe, and he got stormed. I watched it, but not sure I was as connected um, emotionally. For me, that's just me. Others may be different. So if we go to the Christchurch one, and you go, okay. that happened. We got affected a little bit more here. Well, I did. I got affected only by the what happened, and then the what could happen after that. In my opinion, for me, that was contained. It was caught. It was kind of sorted out. That was evidence I got given. So I went, okay. I didn't sort of layer it on, going, oh, what about the retaliation? What other what ifs off that event? What ifs off that event, right? But in that event there, the what ifs did become a thing. We stopped Anzac marching. We closed down military sites around the thing. We had armed guards at the mosques. I don't know if you saw them around here. And that kind of lingered on for a couple of weeks, maybe even a month, of having this kind of public services trying to be seen to do something for the people, right? I was sitting there going, really? I don't. I my opinion was this was a nutcase. He did that. We caught him. We caught people that were connected to him. I don't mind. Keep researching who's connected to him if you want to. And that's it. And then you can keep researching those types of idiots and keep moving. If people retaliate and people do that, I would have thought they're irrational too. So anyway, there was more fear created from the what ifs. What if could happen creates us more consciousness of things and reactions and what to do and what public services and police and ambulances and heightened awareness of something that I'm not sure is there. I don't know, because here we are now, a year on. It's carried on. So that was one thing. I noticed that through that kind of event, and thought, yeah, wow. But I kept moving, right? I just thought it was ridiculous, a lot of the things. But society does whatever it wants, We seem to follow it, I guess. So that's cool. So now we bring it into the last couple of weeks of this COVID thing, of a virus. Whoa! Now we get really, really interesting. And for me personally, the angles, it's just the angles of stuff that you get hit at, and it's kind of like there's not one person that I can talk to that is not affected by this and having some type of going through some type of process, right? A process of this, because generally you have an opinion on it, and it's kind of generally similar, and you might have a couple of opinions that are a little bit more out there. So like this, you might have 10 people, and you ask 10 people about the Christchurch thing, and 9 of them are kind of rational, from and kind of like, yeah, I'm not too phased. Yeah, ooh, a little concerned about that, but keep going. It was horrible. It was stupid, and they had this kind of evening out. Whereas this thing, you've got, it's almost, from my percentages, there's more of it. So you don't have 10 cases, you've got 50 cases, and so the what I would consider irrational uh, opinions are up here, you know, and it's fascinating because we add in, it's kind of like added in each dimension. And when I talk about my pillars, it's added each one. So if we go health, we go, oh, what's going to happen to my health? I logically look at it from whatever research I'm doing to look at the virus itself, and I'm being honest, I don't have a lot of concern for it. I just don't. Um, and this is something that maybe I have a gap. Maybe this is my gap. I'm not concerned about a virus of what I've seen, heard, watched, read, in to any capacity of any of the doctors of anything. So for me, whether this is right or wrong, is evidence number one um, invokes no fear. I have practically zero fear. You know, I have the same amount of fear as I do for getting other viruses. You know, I travel to foreign countries. I think they're there already. There's viruses there that have been there probably since I was born, I imagine. Um, there's been stories written about all of them. They are there now. I don't want to use the flu term. It's the flu. Let's say it's a bad case of the flu. It's worse. You get chest. I've had chest infections. I had one when I was about 20 something. Chest infection. Do I want a chest infection today? I'm almost 50. Maybe not. I'm not out there looking to get a chest infection. I'm not looking to get shot either. But ultimately, um, from what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, I have a very limited. Fear is not an emotion that I'm invoked with this virus that I'm seeing. Okay, so that's off the table as far as me personally being afraid in that. So that's health, my health and well-being. Don't want it, but not concerned. If I was diagnosed with it, I'm pretty confident. How's that? So that's that piece. Um, now let's work on the social side of things. So it's something that's there from how it affects people, my relationships, people I'm connected to. Without that fear, I don't have fear for my others. So for my children, I am not afraid for their health and well-being either. Maybe that's a gap, but instantly, I'm not afraid for their health and well-being and the safety of the virus. Okay, but my parents, uh, my parents, I would be more concerned if I was them. That's the best way I can say it. Um, they are in the brackets of mortalities that I'm seeing, and they have medication and they have other factors from health related um, uh, position, from a health related position, from where they sit, in my opinion, that my concern for them would be higher. How high? Don't know. They're here. I tell you, if I was in Italy right now, might be thinking differently for them. For myself, I still would be having to do what the rest of society is reacting to, right? self-isolation, all this lockdown stuff. I'm caught up in the crossfire of that, right? But do I take on the concerns for my parents? Probably would, you know. So you want me to go that way into that angle of concerns? My parents would be the ones that would get me more concerned. What's interesting is they don't seem to be. And, you know, maybe that's the gap in me. So maybe if I was their age, a future me, sitting there with this next virus strand that might go around, I might be sitting there giving you the same speech that, no fear, I'm not concerned. So that's the piece I'm trying to debate. But with that same debate, if I didn't have diabetes, if I didn't have things, and I'm that age, my risk would be higher, but I'd probably still be concerned, more concerned. But when I'm that age, there's a lot of things that are going to knock me out. I think, you know, my death, or my dying, is kind of there anyway, right? So not sure. To be honest, I can't put myself there yet. Not I'm theorizing being there. I know I wouldn't want to die. So yeah. So on a people concern level, you know, I've got uncles and aunties that are in there. Unfortunately, I distance those types of things in the same sort of bucket. So I could have concerns for that. So that's that piece. That's the health pillar. So the concern bit is that, and then there's my next pillar really after relationships and those sorts of things is finances. You know, finances become a projection for me. It's like it's where I go to. I can't help it, and so I go into the what ifs with finances. So I built a model on that. My model was going quite nicely. My charts, you know, now I've turned my charts upside down. That sucks. That hurts. It's weird. That hurts more than a lot of things. But it seems to be how I've put together. But I can adapt to that quite comfortably, quite calmly and resolutionary, and just go through it. What tends to happen though with me is because there's so much uncertainty and things, I can't help but keep adapting my model. So the modeling I'm doing doomsday model, doing thing model. I've already done that with my health and with what I'll do in lockdown or whatever. I already go there, and they collide. So the financial things. So a lot of my tasks and what I'm doing now are generally based on business, right? And keeping business going. My fear of the actual thing, and they collide a little bit more here too because of this social distancing factor and those implications and what that means for these groups and these people that I have to manage or process, lead. I've got to lead them, right? So that's the financial stuff, things stuff. So then I come back to from the evidence I see and the logic I read, seems to be back to pretty much basics. You know, that's where I come to totally. Most of what, and I could be missing something here. Most of it is, basic hygiene, which I thought seemed seemed reasonable, and basic um, building up your own immunity. You know, things that we harp on naturally about all the time as a animal, as a human being. You know, sleep, exercise, eat natural foods and water and that sort of jargon. So to me, you know, it's getting prescribed the same thing you're already doing. You know. So anyway, that's that side. But the one that's I reckon the biggest difference with this, apart from all the amount of numbers, it's just awesome how social media has, in my opinion, really beaten us up. I use this as the same as the first. I don't know if you watched online the Kuwait War. I don't know if you guys got into that. I watched that with fascination. You know, we could have reports daily on how many flights went in and how many bombs got flown in and how many aircraft carriers they had and how many bombs were getting dropped from the B-52s. And they'd have stats and numbers, how many of them were doing this, how many were doing that. And so it just felt like an awesome video game, right? Knowing who's going in. And they'd show us Patriot bombs. And if a bomb does this, we're going to intercept it. If an Israeli if they shoot at Israel, they had the stealth, and then they had the stealth fighters. Now you remember all that? It's like that with this. You know, we're getting these daily updates and these numbers coming through of how many's doing what, who's doing what, who said this, and which doctor said that, and which doctor said this. Just like this awesome overload of real-time information, right? And from these numbers surfaces out, which raises out, you know, that same information goes out to billions of people. And what irrational stuff surfaces from it, right? From panic. But back to my statement, back to my title of fear. Fear in numbers creates panic, and then panic surfaces in different ways. So panic buying, panic decisions, business decisions being made, what people will do with their investments, what people won't do, what they will do. You know, it's kind of an awesome bubble that you get roped into. You know, and I think it's like an 80% 20%, 70%, 30% split with the herd going with what advice they get, you know, and then how that works on a national level of this. So yeah, so it's been fascinating for me as an individual watching this happen, and being connected through different pieces. It's really highlighted to me, and the social media thing I find a real fascinating one. How a message on there is enough. That's enough to go by, whatever that message said, and how you're unable to take that message out, or you might not be able to use rationality with it, with whatever that message was. It's a bit like when the Prime Minister makes a statement, and the statement's read out of what we're doing. And for us here, say they're going to limit the borders or close the borders to foreigners. So because the reason they're doing that is because every case we've had of this virus has been linked to someone coming overseas. It's been the overlying evidence that they've got at this point. So that seemed like a logical step. dashboard. So that there is, let's say, that's the ration and um, the truth point right now. So that's the truth point, and it's reasonable to all the demographics from financial thing to shut that bit down. So let's go do that. And what comes out of that, and then what you listen to, this is what 600 other people listen to, or 1,000. So out of 3 million people listen to it, 100,000 people, which is low, took on another level of what they're going to do about it within the realms of their situation or their way of thinking, right? Combined already with the heightened social media contradictions. So yeah, and so it's hard not to get swamped with it. So it's been a fascinating process for me anyway. Sort of sitting and watching it, digesting it down. So anyway, for me, it's still kind of like a bit of both. I think it'd be weird if you didn't have any kind of emotion through this, personally. So I'm not going to lie. There's been emotion, but what's triggered my emotion may be different to yours. That's all. My emotion seems to be based on, you know, trying to survive through this financially, right? It's the financial thing I'm trying to hold on to, I'll have to admit. The other stuff, I got some concerns for my parents. But, you know, my overriding part in all this is that I'm responsible for myself, self-responsibility, you know, do what the Ministry of Health is saying as a global suggestion, you know, follow that rationally and keep moving, I think, you know, and I don't know what else to do. I'm pretty confident this is going to work its way through. It just will be kind of longer. So that's the annoying part. I don't want to call everyone stupid, but if I'm honest, that's what I think people are. You know, I just think there's so much stupidity out there. You know, and I think it's stupid. Maybe I'm the one who's stupid. You know, I'm sure there's an element of my stupidity. You know, am I missing something? You know, maybe there's long-term effects from catching this virus, so you don't want. Yeah, okay, so you're protecting me from that. I'm cool. That I can appreciate, I guess. But still, I'm not sure. I'm not sure anyone is. The piece that I'll say this. This is just me, and this is the bit I really look for. I go, well, what's the truth behind, you know, the worst case scenarios from that? And then I'm thinking, how does society get themselves out of it? Let's say I don't have the same fear, but how does society get out of this fear of what's going on? And I think the fear will, society will only change once vaccination. That's cool, so we can establish that, is by having some type of medication that's readily available for the 5% or 2% of the people that are highest risk, like my parents are. My parents are at risk, but there's higher risks than them. So for those dudes, we've got medication that will reduce that drastically. Let's say we get that. That seems to be where I think we'll be able to keep moving. So it's new, it's thing, we can develop this. So I guess my answer is unfortunately is the time span of my world of science. Science resolves this so that enough people in the health sector of enough evidence for them that we've got 1,000 people here, we can medicate them, then we're good. It seems to me that they can't medicate them, we don't know how to medicate them, we're not sure what to do. That's the explosion of fear to the amount that we are now. So every week and every month that goes by, the education gets higher on it, and that education should flow through to become the news story. I mean, that's what I'm waiting for, I guess. We just need the stories to subside and start going. We have a vaccination. We have, I see we're testing New Zealanders and Australians right now with a couple of bits of medication that we can use. It's being tested in China or America or whoever. So if those things start building themselves through and they're successful, or at least 80% of the cases that they put it on are successful, we'll still have concerns, obviously, but at least we have, I think, a solution or a solid answer. We'll be able to kind of then get that bell curve changing to ultimately open the borders again and go back to a slow moving normality again, you know. So that's my theory. How long it takes, I sense several months, but I think every month will go. Seems to still feel like we're on a downward trend, but in my opinion, the medication and the health risk reduction with science and medication ability, the public hysteria of it will change. I think. Let's see.